A gentle war of words in Countdown in half an hour, right after today's 15 to 1.
From King Edward VI High School for Girls in Birmingham, Jennifer Rowe, Miriam Lesser, Hannah Reynolds, Sophie Wardell and Monisha Rajesh. From St Mary's Catholic School, Bishop Stortford in Hertfordshire, Rebecca Denny, Joseph Minihane, Caris Jones, Simon Basie and Claire Marshall. And from Aylesbury Grammar School in Buckinghamshire, James Richardson, Olivier Gruy, Richard Penrose, Declan Fleming and Edward Cadwallader are all here to play 15 to 1 for schools, presented by William G. Stewart.
Thank you. Hello. Well, yesterday's winner, St Louis Grammar School from Ballymena, came up with a pretty healthy score. There's how the finals board stands. I won't do it every day, but here's a quick reminder of how this school series of 15 to 1 works. Lives don't count in rounds 1 and 2, but each correct answer is worth 10 points. And I'll tell you about round 2 when we get there. A reminder that the 108 schools we have in the series have been auditioned all over the country, and the 540 players who make up the teams are all doing their A-levels or Scottish Highers. So let's make a start. 2 questions each in the first round, and we begin with King Edward VI. Jennifer, religion. What name was given to the sacred writings of a breakaway Jewish sect found in 1947 on the shores of the Dead Sea, which included much of the Hebrew Bible and rules for the life of the sect?
The Dead Sea Scrolls.
Miriam, please. Sports stadiums or stadia. In which city are Meadowbank Stadium and Murrayfield?
Sheffield.
Edinburgh. Hannah, campaign groups. The registered charity ASH exists to discourage what activity?
Smoking.
Sophie, please. What collective term describes self-defence and single combat skills, such as judo, karate and taekwondo?
Martial arts.
Monisha. Shakespeare. Eye of newt and toe of frog, wool of bat and tongue of dog. Who cooks up that concoction in a Shakespeare play?
The Witches of Macbeth.
Yes, Monisha. St Mary's. Rebecca. In which story by Roald Dahl does a deprived orphan boy find friendship and happiness when a magic giant fruit grows in his garden?
James and the Giant Peach.
Joseph, please. In which city is De Montfort University based?
Leicester.
Caris. Education and degrees. PhD is an abbreviation from the Latin. What does it stand for in English? Doctor of Philosophy. Simon, please. 3 members of which pop group are to star as gangster sisters in a film called Honest, directed by the musician Dave Stewart, formerly of Eurythmics?
All Saints.
Claire, please. The name, please, of the stretch of water between Hampshire and the Isle of Wight, of which Spithead is the eastern end? The Solent. Aylesbury, James. Sport. In which sport are Eddie Irvine, Johnny Herbert and David Coulthard well-known names in Britain?
Formula 1 motor racing.
They are. Olivier. Films and James Bond. Who now plays the character M, 007's boss in the Bond films?
Dame Judi Dench.
Richard, please. Which 19th century American novel tells the story of a young boy's runaway travels on the Mississippi River with his slave friend Jim?
Not sure.
The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. Declan. Blythe, Bamborough and Berwick-upon-Tweed are on the coast of which English county?
Dorset.
Northumberland. Edward. Television. The Shadwicks, the Musgroves and the Corkhills. Families in which TV soap?
Brookside.
Yes, Brookside. And your second set of questions, King Edward. Jennifer, the Camargue is an area in which European country?
France.
Yes, south of France. Miriam, science. A standard piece of laboratory equipment. What is the name of the small graduated glass tube used for delivering accurate quantities of liquid?
A test tube.
Pipette. And Hannah, please. The Catcher in the Rye. Who wrote it?
I don't know.
J.D. Salinger. Sophie, this is politics. Basildon, Billericay and Braintree are parliamentary constituencies in which county?
Pass.
Essex. Monisha, geography. Which Middle East country is known by the abbreviation UAE?
United Arab Emirates.
Yes, the United Arab Emirates. St Mary's, Rebecca. Architecture. Much used by early Romans, what name is given to a structure, usually raised, that was used to transport water over long distances?
Canal?
Aqueduct. And Joseph, please. Which Latin phrase, sometimes used in law, means way of working?
Don't know.
Modus operandi. Caris, BBC Radio. Whose programme follows Zoe Balls on Radio 1 at 9 o'clock on weekday mornings?
Simon Mayo?
It is Simon Mayo. And Simon, please. Charles Dickens. In which novel is the hero educated as a gentleman with money provided by his benefactor, an escaped convict? Great Expectations. Claire, sport. In which six-a-side sport, which takes place on a court with a net either 2.43 or 2.24 metres high, can players block, dig or tip the ball?
Volleyball?
Yes, volleyball. And Aylesbury. James, British history. The term the Restoration refers to the restoration of which 17th century monarch?
Charles II.
Olivier, botany. What is the green pigment in plants called?
Chlorophyll.
Richard, fashion. Which British designer is the chief designer for the French fashion house Christian Dior?
Pass.
John Galliano. Declan, food and drink. Which food additive has the abbreviation MSG? No? Monosodium glutamate. And Edward, Hyderabad, Rawalpindi and Faisalabad are major cities in which Asian country?
Iran.
Pakistan. There we are, round one, and Philip, some scores, please.
And the scores are King Edward VI High School, 60 points, St Mary's School, 50 points, and Aylesbury Grammar School, 50 points.
Now, these questions in round two go round the scores in rotation. If the player facing the question answers correctly, it's 10 points. If he or she confers with the rest of the team, a correct answer is worth 5 points. And we start again with King Edward VI High School. Jennifer, which 14th century poet was the first to be buried in what is now Poets' Corner in Westminster Abbey?
Geoffrey Chaucer.
Indeed. St Mary's, Rebecca. Sinhalese and Tamil are the official languages of which Indian Ocean Island Commonwealth country? Sri Lanka. Aylesbury. James, please. Science and chemistry. Boyle's law and Charles's law are concerned with the movement of what?
Gases.
King Edward, Miriam. In the song The 12 Days of Christmas, what is the gift on the first day?
Partridge in a pear tree.
Yes, just okay, a partridge in a pear tree. St Mary's, Joseph. The name, please, of the Cambridge professor of mathematics whose book A Brief History of Time has been a bestseller since its publication in 1988.
Stephen Hawking.
Aylesbury and Olivier. The animal world. What name is given to the class of vertebrates which includes frogs, toads and newts?
Amphibians.
Yes. And King Edward, Hannah. Computing. MS-DOS, Word and Windows were all developed by which software company?
Microsoft.
St Mary's, Caris. Still computing. What medical term describes a program that attaches itself to a file within a computer and corrupts the data each time the file is run?
Virus.
Yes, it is virus. Aylesbury and Richard. And still computers, Richard. What name is given to an establishment that provides terminals connected to the internet as well as coffee, pastries and other refreshments?
Cyber Cafe.
And King Edward, back to you. And Sophie. Athletics. In two events, a strip of plasticine or putty is a vital aid to the judges. Either event, please.
Long jump.
Yes, and the triple jump, to make sure the jumpers don't cross the board. St Mary's and Simon. Chemistry. Quicksilver is another name for which liquid element?
Mercury.
Aylesbury and Declan. Geography. What's the capital of Romania?
Bucharest.
It is Bucharest. And King Edward and Monisha. What was John Lackland forced to sign or seal at a site between Staines and Windsor in 1215?
Signing of the Magna Carta.
Yes, the Magna Carta. St Mary's and Clare. What names are given to the lines of latitude 66 degrees 33 minutes north and 66 degrees 33 minutes south?
Tropics of Cancer and Capricorn.
No, it's the Arctic and Antarctic circles. And Aylesbury and Edward. Classical music. What are represented by Vivaldi's violin concertos, Opus 8, numbers 1 to 4?
The Four Seasons.
And I'm back with King Edward and Jennifer. Board games. In the game of Cluedo, what is the name of the house in which the murder takes place? No? Tudor Close. And St Mary's and Rebecca, still a game of Cluedo. What's the name of the owner of the house who is also the victim in the game? No? Dr. Black. And Aylesbury and James. A two-part answer, please. In which century was William Shakespeare born, and in which century did he die?
The 15th and 16th.
16th and 17th. And King Edward and Miriam. Who currently holds the post held in the past by Don Revie, Ron Greenwood, Bobby Robson, Graham Taylor, Terry Venables and Glenn Hoddle?
Kevin Keegan.
Yes, Kevin Keegan. St Mary's and Joseph. Shakespeare and Othello. What emotion does Iago describe in the play as the green-eyed monster?
Jealousy.
It does. And Aylesbury and Olivier. With which sport do you associate the names Patrick Rafter, Marcello Rios and Peter Corder?
Tennis.
And King Edward and Hannah. Aeroplanes. The fuselage is the main body of an aeroplane. What is the empennage? Spelled E-M-P-E-N-N-A-G-E. Empennage. No? No, it's the tail unit. And St Mary's and Carys. Musicals. In which Lerner and Lowe musical are the main characters a professor, a flower seller, and her father, who is a dustman?
My Fair Lady.
Yes, My Fair Lady. Aylesbury and Richard. Famous painters. Salvador Dali, Francisco de Goya, and Pablo Picasso. Which country were they all born in?
Spain.
They were Spain. And before we go on, a quick resume of the scores. King Edward, you have 100 points. St Mary's has 85 and Aylesbury 105. Right, on we go with King Edward. And we are up to Sophie. Sophie, which European country has land borders with Finland, Sweden and the Russian Federation?
Norway.
Norway. And St Mary's and Simon. The name, please, of the waterway or canal that via two gulfs connects the Aegean and Ionian seas?
Suez Canal.
The Corinth Canal. Aylesbury and Declan. Which European capital city stands on the river Tiber?
Rome.
It does. And King Edward and Monisha. What is a baby whale called, Monisha?
A pup.
A calf. St Mary's, Clare. What is the most western point of mainland England? No?
Land's End.
Yes, just Land's End. And Aylesbury and Edward. Classical mythology. Who was the queen of the Amazons, whose girdle Heracles stole, and who also features in Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream?
Hippolyta.
Yes, Hippolyta, yes, that'll do. And onwards we go, please, with King Edward again and Jennifer. The USA, two presidents shared the name Roosevelt or Roosevelt. Either of their first names, please.
Theodore.
Yes, Theodore Roosevelt and Franklin Roosevelt. And St Mary's and Rebecca. Television. What's the title of the BBC Two pop trivia quiz hosted by Mark Lamar?
Never mind the Buzzcocks.
Aylesbury and James. We call ours motorways. What do the French call theirs?
Autoroutes.
They do. And King Edward and Miriam. Food and drink. The French call it hors d'oeuvre. What do the Italians call it?
Antipasta.
Yeah, antipasto, yes. St Mary's and Joseph. Currency. What is the main unit of currency, Joseph, in Russia?
The ruble.
And Aylesbury and Olivier. 20th century writers. A handful of dust. Scoop. Brideshead Revisited. The author, please. No,
sorry.
Evelyn Waugh. And King Edward and Hannah. Films in the 1990s. The name, please, of the Irish actor who starred in the films Schindler's List in 1993, Rob Roy in 1995, and Michael Collins in 1996.
Liam Neeson.
Liam Neeson. And Carys. The monarchy, Edward IV, Richard III and Henry VII all ruled in England in which century?
The 15th.
Yes. Aylesbury and Richard, please. Music. From the Italian for booklet, what is the text of an opera called?
Libretto.
It is. King Edward and Sophie. Flags. What symbol represents Northern Ireland on the royal standard?
A harp.
St Mary's and Simon. Literature. Who adapted Kenneth Grahame's The Wind in the Willows as a play called Toad of Toad Hall?
No.
A. Milne. Aylesbury and Declan. Geography. Picture this. If you sail due west from Perth in Australia, which country will be your first continental landfall?
Chile.
You've gone the wrong way.
Oh.
South Africa. And King Edward and Manisha. Science. What name is given in physics to the tendency of an object to remain in a state of rest until an external force is applied?
Equilibrium.
No, that's something different. This is inertia. And St Mary's and Clare. In which century did the United States declare independence from Britain?
18th.
The 18th century. And Aylesbury and Edward. Meteorology. In a primary rainbow, which colour is on the inside of the rainbow?
Violet.
It is. That's round two. And Philip, the scores, please.
They are King Edward VI High School, 140 points, St Mary's School, 115 points, and Aylesbury Grammar School, 145 points.
There you are. Thank you, Philip. And after the break, each school will send one of their team forward into the final. Do please stay with us.
In today's 15-1 final, representing King Edward VI High School with 140 points, Jennifer Rowe, studying A-levels in English Literature, French, Maths and General Studies. Representing St Mary's School with 115 points, Simon Basie, studying A-levels in History, German, Maths, Further Maths and General Studies. And representing Aylesbury Grammar School with 145 points, Edward Cadwallader, studying A-levels in English, History, Maths and General Studies.
Thank you. Welcome back. Jennifer, Simon and Edward, you know that your scores from round two are now part of the final scores, and it's Jennifer, King Edward, it's 140, Simon, St Mary's 115, Edward, Aylesbury 145. Your target is that score of Devizes School, 320 at the top of the finals board. And remember, these 30 questions all on the buzzers. Here we go. Television. Which comedy series is this? The first series was set in the period of the Wars of the Roses. The second... Edward?
Blackadder.
It is Blackadder. Will you please look at this and tell me, who is this opera singer? Edward?
Placido Domingo.
One of the three, but it's Jose Carreras, this one. Onwards, please. Sport. David Campese of Australia, Jonah Lomu of New Zealand, Neil Jenkins of Wales, and Lawrence Dallaglio of England are famous names in which sport? Simon?
Rugby union.
They are rugby union. What two-letter abbreviation indicates the relation of a person's mental ability compared to their chronological... Jennifer?
IQ.
Yes, chronological age. Which small country, a member of the European Union, is sandwiched between Belgium, France and Germany? And Simon?
Luxembourg.
The British monarchy, the line of succession. The first person in line to the throne and the person eighth in line to the throne are brother and sister. Who are they? Simon?
Prince Charles and Princess Anne.
Yes, the Princess Royal. On we go, please. World religions. With which religion are the Four Noble Truths? Edward?
Buddhism.
Yes, indeed. The Eightfold Path and the perfections associated. Citius, Altius, Fortius, or faster, higher, stronger, is the motto of which movement? Simon?
The International Olympic Movement.
Yes, the Olympic movement, it is indeed. Children's literature. 101 Dalmatians. What kind of animal is Sergeant Tibbs in the story? Jennifer?
Old English sheepdog.
No. Sergeant Tibbs is a cat. Will you please look at this, please, and tell me, On computers, what is that sign called on a keyboard? Edward?
Is it hash?
It is. Hash mark. The world of Islam. In which Middle East city is the Islamic shrine, the Dome of the Rock? Simon?
Jerusalem.
It is in Jerusalem. If the fathers of William and Elizabeth are brothers, what relationship is there between William and Elizabeth? And
They're
Edward?
cousins.
They are first cousins. Pinatubo in the Philippines, Hecla in Iceland and Stromboli in Italy. What type of geographical features are they, Simon?
Volcanoes.
They are volcanoes. Will you please look at this and tell me, mathematics, what name is given to a circular diagram? Simon?
Pie chart.
It is a pie chart. The game of snooker. At one visit to the table, a player pots the following sequence. Red, black, red, black, red, black. What's the score for that break? Simon?
24.
It is 171717. On we go. Europe. If you sailed due east from Wick in the north of Scotland, in which European country would your next landfall be? Edward?
Norway.
It would. Television. Rupert Murdoch described himself as a billionaire and tyrant in an episode of which dysfunctional family cartoon series?
The Simpsons.
Yes, indeed, which included George Bush, Stephen Hawking and the three surviving Beatles. On we go. Culinary terms. Bombay duck, which is often used to flavour curried dishes, is not duck at all. What is it? No? It's dried fish, the bumalo fish. Nursery rhymes. Who in a nursery rhyme went to Gloucester in a shower of rain? Simon?
Dr. Foster.
Dr. Foster did, indeed. Signs and symbols. Look at this, please, and tell me, this is the logo of which motorcar manufacturer, Edward?
Peugeot.
It is Peugeot. Chemistry. If a chemical reaction is described as aerobic, what specifically is involved, Edward?
Oxygen.
It is free oxygen. Banking. PIN numbers are used in conjunction with hole-in-the-wall cash dispensers. Exactly, please, what do the letters PIN stand for? Jennifer?
Personal identification number.
It does indeed. From 1947 to 1971, it was East Pakistan. What's it now called? Jennifer?
Bangladesh.
It is called Bangladesh. And on we go. Lufthansa is the national airline of which European country? Simon?
Germany.
Pop music. Which Glaswegian indie group recently won a Brit Award in the Best New Band category? Jennifer?
Stereophonics.
Belle and Sebastian. On we go. The United States. Which American state is known as the Grand Canyon State? Edward?
Arizona.
It is Arizona. In which Middle East country is King Fahd the ruling monarch? Edward?
Jordan.
Saudi Arabia. And onwards, sport. In which sport are players identified by the bibs they wear? The 7 players of each team being GS, GA, Jennifer?
Netball.
Yes, indeed. WA, WD, C, GD and GK. What is the official unit of currency of the Netherlands? Simon?
The guilder.
Yes, or the florin I would have had. And in which sport might a person make an albatross, an eagle? Simon?
Golf.
Well, well, well. You know what happens in this case? Jennifer, you finish with a score for King Edward of 180. Edward, you have 235. Simon, you have 235. And in that case, we add on the lives at 10 points each to decide the winner. So you have 1 life left, Edward. Simon, you have 3. So your 235 becomes 265, and you are in 4th position on the finals board. Well done, all 3 of you. Well done, Jennifer. Well done, Simon. Well done, Edward. And that's us for this week. We'll be back on Monday and we'll have with us Strathern School from Belfast, West Kirby Grammar School on Merseyside and Queen Elizabeth's Hospital School in Bristol. Do please join us.
Labour has had 2 years in government under Tony Blair, but how different might things have been? Political commentator Andrew Marr speculates in If John Smith Had Lived, tomorrow at 7:25. Next today, it's Countdown.